What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wellness Hustle podcast, where wellness meets ambition. If you're on the grind towards achieving your goal and you like to be grounded in your emotional, physical, and mental health, then you're in the right place. I engage in meaningful conversations with entrepreneurs, wellness experts, creatives, and everyday individuals who are navigating their journey towards their goals. From mindfulness to financial growth, from purpose to productivity, we cover it all. New episodes drop weekly on our YouTube channel, packed with raw conversations, real tips, and that extra push to keep you thriving and not just surviving. So if you're about that hustle and that healing, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, join the community, and let's level up together. The Wellness Hustle podcast. It's not just a podcast, it's a movement. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Neville Campbell, and welcome back to the Wellness Hustle podcast. I know you guys have been following, watching, hearing the stories, and I'm telling you, if you've not been inspired, then you need to watch them again. Today we have a very exciting lineup of guests. And I tell you what, prepared to be blown away. The stories are transformative, they're life-changing, but in the end, they will connect you to things that you thought that you didn't know that you had in you. Today we have Judge Carlos Moore with us, and we're gonna get deep today. We're gonna dive, we're gonna have some fun. We're also gonna chat and talk about everything that's going on in this man's life. But again, guys, Judge Carlos Moore, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Doc.
Man, it's good to see you, brother.
Same here, brother.
Hey, it's been a long time of coming, man. We go back how far now?
Man, 7-8 years?
7-8 years of building a friendship. And through the 7 years, I've seen a lot. I won't say a lot, but I've seen a lot. Much of which that I will not say on the show today, but I've seen this man grow. I've seen this man transform. I've seen him excel. And now he's at the next step of his professional career. Carlos for Congress. We're going to get into this. We're going to dive deep into it. We're going to talk about why the people deserve more. Right, Judge Moore?
That's right.
All right, man. So let's take the folks back to where this all started. I know when we initially met, there were a lot of similarities in the stories about the upbringing, the childhood. Tell me about your childhood a little bit. Was mom and dad there for you? Were both of them there, or just was mom there for you? You talk a lot about your mom and her influence on your professional career and your personal life. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Well, initially, it was just my mom there for me. I was born to a single mother, 19 years of age, in Mississippi, back in '77, long time ago. And she really poured all she had into me. And she wanted a better life for me. Even though I was born in the poor state of the Union, she knew that with God's help, I could become something special. And so she basically, kind of similar to Hannah, turned me over to God at an early age. She joined the church, raised me in the church, and the Lord really turned our lives around. I say our lives because by her doing that, it turned my life and my trajectory around. Statistics would have had me probably predicted to be in jail or dead by the time I was 21. Being born to a poor single mother, but she joined the church. And interestingly enough, after 6 months of me being born, she married my stepfather. And I'm a Moore because he adopted me when I was 3 years of age. And so I got his last name. My father's still alive. So both my parents were in my life. But the day I was born, you never could imagine that I would have become a lawyer or a judge or anything special because it was a bleak looking situation.
Gotcha. Hey, I'll tell you what, out of those grim and dark stories, some of the most, beautiful things come out, right? Some of the most, in the murky, swamps sometimes, we find some of the most beautiful lilies coming out. And so far, your story, like I said, has been absolutely amazing. Talk to us about you starting your law practice. How did that come about?
That came about, I knew coming up that my parents couldn't afford to send me to college, so we worked very hard in school to get scholarships to go to college, got a fellowship to go to law school, and once I got to law school, I was able to work for a firm for about 3 or 4 years before I started my own firm. And back to my mother again, she's always believed in me, and around that time she was having her first retirement, and so I told her I wanted to start my firm, and she gave me the $35,000 out of her retirement money to start my firm, and just gave it to me as a gift. But of course that was her hard-earned money, so within 3 years of starting my firm in 2008, at the age of 28, I was able to repay her all of her money back. And we have gone from there. So 19, 20 years later, here we are, still with the Carlos Moore Law Group.
When you see your mom now and you talk about this story of her pouring out her savings or retirement savings to help you, how does that make her feel?
She's proud of the investment. It makes her feel great. She always told me that I could do whatever I put my mind to, and it was important to have her believing in me, not only telling me that I could do it, but to put her money where her mouth was. And I could never thank her enough, because I would not be where I am today had it not been for my mother, because I knew the bank was not going to give me the money. Banks only loan lawyers money after they have proven themselves for 2 years. So I would have had to start the business and struggle for 2 years, and then the bank might have loaned me some money for my practice. But my mother believed in me from the beginning, and we were able to get started, and the rest has been history.
Wow, man. Thank God for moms.
Thank God for moms.
Were there any challenging moments in your practice, in the infancy of your practice, that caused you to question your decision of going into law or even starting your practice?
No, I don't think there. I haven't looked back since I started. I've always made more money working for myself, betting on myself, than I did working for another man. And so I think society positions you or trains you to work for others and have the safety net, just be secure. But I didn't want to be just secure. I wanted to make generational impact and changes for the next generation, for my son and my son's sons' families.
Tell me about your kids. You said your son. You have a daughter as well, right?
I do.
Let's talk about the kids.
I have 2 children. I have a freshman in high school. Okay. She's 14 years of age. Will be 15 this come October. And I have a 15-week-old at home, my namesake, CJ. And so we are at both ends of the spectrum, and we just couldn't be happier. I have my pride and my joy.
Right. Your daughter's Avery, right?
Avery Nicole,
yeah.
Yes.
And she's where now?
She's in Mississippi.
She's in Mississippi.
Yes.
And that's where your practice currently resides?
Yes, that's where my practice is headquartered.
What brought you to Atlanta?
Love brought me to Atlanta. So I met a young lady here back in 23. We had a mutual friend who invited us to his 10-year law firm gala. Mm-hmm. And so she had gone to the University of Miami with him, so he invited her, and he invited me separately as a lawyer and a friend from the National Bar Association, and then as a frat brother with Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And so I accepted the invitation and went solo, and I had my eye. Mm-hmm. I had a curious eye looking around the room to see who I could find that may be available, and I saw this beautiful young lady sitting at a table by herself. So I approached her and asked her could I join her. She said yes, and we hit it off from the moment I approached her. And so I asked her did she want a drink. I got a drink, and we talked some more. And when I asked her could I have her IG and take a selfie with her, I knew I had her at that point. So we took that selfie, our first selfie together, and had an IG and got a phone number, and we've been talking from that night to this one.
So would you say it was love at first sight?
It was.
Yeah.
I can really say that. We hit it off very well, and that was May the 6th of 23. For Memorial Day weekend, I had a crawfish boil at my home in Mississippi. I invited her to come out for the weekend. She accepted the invitation, and she came out. We had a great time at the crawfish boil, and she was just she should have been there for like 2 days, 3 days at max. I kept asking her to come to different things. I had a judges conference on the coast in Biloxi. I invited her to go to that as well. She went to that, and then I had a Kappa ball to go to the next weekend. So she ended up staying 10 days the first trip to Mississippi. So I knew from that point that this was the one. There was just magic happening every day.
Something good must have been in Mississippi.
Something good.
I wonder what it was.
But she's a city girl.
Let me just say, Carla, something good must have been in Mississippi because that lady stayed 10 days.
10 days.
Mm-hmm.
She got more of what she needed.
She got more.
The people deserve more.
Hey, man, so more. I'll tell you what, I've met Vandy. She's just such a beautiful lady, inside out, beautiful heart. And so when you guys got together, I was actually just celebrating for you both. For you, as my friend, had seen you go through and navigate, relationships here and there, but having found someone, and yes, we were all concerned too that, well, will this be, like the others? But this was different. This was very different. So, one lesson I drew from this is not every you can't base the ending of a new story by past stories. You cannot, no matter how similar they might look, because each story carries its own, its own characters, its own plot, and the ending can be very different if you make that ending very different. But if you try to, but sometimes, people see similarities and we lock in on those and we begin to formulate sort of the path, formulate sort of the expectations, and ultimately we create the same result, or we create the same sort of, outcome that we were trying to get away from, not knowing that we had a major role in creating that reality that we were trying to run away from. So again, just major congratulations to you and Vandy. Like, you guys look beautiful together.
Thank you.
Happy together. And of course, your bundle of joy, CJ. I mean, I'm just proud to see all of it. I'm proud to see you, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy to be your friend, to see the structure that you have created and the balance that it has brought to your life. This is beautiful, man. So with this structure now, I think you're leaning into, you're leaning away from your legal practice, and you're leaning into running for Congress.
Yes.
Let's talk about your judgeship for a little bit. So how many years did you serve?
I served on the bench 6.5 years.
6.5 years. And what was your main sort of initiatives when you were serving?
My main initiatives when I served as a judge was to try to dispense not only justice but mercy. Temper justice with mercy, and so I had a second chances program. It was called the Do Better ASAP program, Do Better Alternative Sentencing Accountability Program. And so I gave youthful, first-time nonviolent offenders a second chance if they took responsibility for their actions. If they pled guilty and agreed to join the program, I would come up with a situation or scenario for them, give them parameters, tell them certain things they had to do, and bring them back to court a few months later to see if they had done those things. If they had jumped through every hoop I had put up for them to cleared every hurdle, they would have a clean record, no fine and no jail time. And so a lot of people were happy about the program. They joined it and completed it successfully, and they kept a clean record. And so I was happy to do it. It got a lot of acclaim, not only locally but nationally, and we were able to help several young people. Walmart even took notice of the endeavor, and they gave $1 million towards the endeavor to help train other judges to do similar things across the country.
That was very powerful, man. I mean, I read that story and I saw the impact in those kids' life. It was really, really, really moving to see the change and to see giving people second chances. Also, you also did some work on civil rights. Well, you did a lot of work on civil rights activism, right?
I did.
And also regarding the Confederate flag being removed from your courtroom. Let's talk about that. How was that process?
Yes, my first order of business as a judge, on the very first day, I had the Confederate flag removed from my courtroom by the bailiff. It was actually the state flag that bore the Confederate emblem, and I thought that was a treacherous symbol. It did not stand for justice, and I was not going to dispense justice in front of such a symbol, and so I had the bailiff remove it from my courtroom, and it never returned for the entirety of my time on the bench. And so before I became a judge, I had already sued the governor about the flag because I thought it violated the 14th Amendment, our rights to equal protection. And so that lawsuit lasted 1.5 years and went all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. But I became a judge in 2017. I had sued the governor in 2016. So I took it out. I did what I could with the power that I had. And I had the power because it was my courtroom. So I took it out of my own personal courtroom. And then I think in 2020, the legislature changed the law and created a new flag. And so once the new flag was created, I brought the Mississippi flag back into my courtroom. It did not bear the Confederate emblem. It bore the magnolia. The state flower, and so I allowed it back in my courtroom at that point. But when you have power, you use it for what is the right thing. You have to have a backbone. And I had death threats because I took it out of my courtroom. I had death threats for suing the governor, but I was not going to turn back. When I believe in something, I'm going to fight to the end. I would not turn back come hell or high water.
Man, I remember those days. I remember those times when we were going through it. From that, would you say that controversy, what impact did it have on you, on your judgeship in the state of Mississippi?
I was appointed judge, city judge, and so the mayor and the city council, majority of the city council supported my endeavors, and so they encouraged me, so I was not afraid from that aspect. I definitely believed in what I was doing. I thought it was a righteous cause, and so I just stayed the course, and the people appreciated my stance. I would say the majority of the people. Of course, there was a minority of folks that were very upset because they really for some reason, celebrate or worship that despicable emblem.
Yeah, so, whenever we take those positions, you're going to ruffle feathers. You're going to have people who are dissatisfied or extremely upset with what you're doing. And again, it's an extreme position, but it requires that to get the attention, to get the change that you did. What are some of the things that minority group did?
Maybe just different threats, and some of which I had to take very seriously. A lot of them were online. They would say things. They would just threaten to kill me, harm my family. So I had to hire full-time protection for not only myself, but my family as well as my staff. And so I spent my hard-earned money to protect my family. And we all survived. My staff all survived, and nobody lost life or limb. So I'm grateful to God. But it was stressful, very stressful. My blood pressure probably was up most of the time, worrying, but I was not going to turn back. I knew that if God brought me to it, he would bring me through it, and he did just that.
Amen to that, man. That's the word. If God brought you to it, he will bring you through it. Just keep on pressing. Now, are you still serving as a judge with the division in Mississippi?
No, when I moved here to Atlanta a couple years ago, I had to give those positions up because that was a weekly job in Mississippi, and the distance would not allow me to keep the job. And so I gave it up. I had done what I could and had set the example for what other judges could do in their courtrooms. And so I was happy that my mission on the bench was complete, and I was able to resign from both positions and move here to Atlanta.
So here we are now in Atlanta, new city, building new relationships, blazing a whole new trail. How do you feel? Are you excited about this?
I am very excited. Most people don't know that my original plan leaving law school was to move to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I took a 20-year detour, but I'm here now. So everything comes full circle.
Hey, like Jonah, right?
Correct.
No matter where you go, God is going to bring you back.
He'll bring you back.
Right? So what is your plan for Congress? What is your plan for the people?
My plan for the people is to give them more of what they deserve. When I got here, and every community I live in, I look around to see where I can be of assistance. Where can I make a difference? I had started the Boys and Girls Club and the 100 Black Men chapter back in Mississippi in the town I was living in. So I looked where I could make a change here. And I saw people unhappy with their current representation in District 13. They were complaining that they never saw their representative and that their representative, because of his age and health, was not able to give them what they really desired, a very active and vociferous representative. And if you know anything about me, I'm going to speak truth to power. I'm about and I'm bossed, and I'm going to stand up for what I believe is right. And so they wanted a voice. They wanted more representation, and so I'm offering myself for service. And this time we're living in it's a very different time. It's a very dangerous time. Democracy is actually at risk, and the people need a battle-tested fighter, and that's what they're asking for. And so that's what I'm offering myself for service for the District 13.
Gotcha. So some people would say, Carlos, that you're relatively new in Atlanta. How do you know the community enough to provide the support? How would you address that question?
I address it just like this. I am very cognizant of the Constitution. I'm a constitutional scholar. I've been trained in the law. I've interpreted the law as a judge. I've practiced law for over 20 years. And so I'm not a novice to this. I'm true to this. I'm not new to this. And so on day one of my term as a congressman, I will be able to hit the ground running, so to speak. It would not be a long learning curve because I know what I'm doing. I know the law. And Trump is attacking the Constitution. He's attacking the law every day. And so we need someone who's able to stand up to this big bad bully. And I think I'm that person for the district. And so that's why I'm offering myself. I also tell people, my good friend Ben Crump is hired across the country as the hired gun. There are other lawyers in that particular state or city that they could turn to, but they go to someone that is proven, who's tried and tested and has proven his ability time and time again in certain cases. And so I'm offering myself as a hired gun for this district. And I believe that's what the people want, and that's what they deserve. And I think that's what they're going to get.
How are you getting the word out?
We're getting the word out organically through digital media, and we're also knocking on doors and visiting the various communities. I have 6 counties in the district, and so from Clayton County, Newton County, Henry County, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Rockdale counties. We're getting the word out. We're visiting the churches. We'll be at the high school football games this fall, basketball games, wherever there's a festival. A group of people will be there. And so we're just going to have a good ground game to support our digital game. And there'll be some television, but we're not going to rely just on television. But we're going to shake hands and we're going to kiss the babies, and we are going to let the people know that we will be there, somebody they can touch and see and feel. That's what they want, somebody they can touch, see, and feel. and here. And that's what we're going to be for the district.
So, let's say we had a room of people right now, a room of all the people or most of the people from those districts, from those counties in the district, and you had 30 seconds to deliver something that was compelling. What would you say?
I would tell the people, being CJ's dad and living in the time of Trump, I had a choice to either fight or flee. I've chosen to stay and fight for his future. I've chosen to stay and fight for your child's future because they deserve to be able to live the American dream that I've lived. I'm a first-generation college graduate, a first-generation law student, lawyer, and a first-generation judge. First in my family to do that, I married a first-generation American. She's an immigrant. She became a first-generation college graduate and a first-generation physician. And so we have lived, Vonda and I have lived the American dream, and we want the same for our child and for your children. And so that's all at risk now unless someone stands up to Trump. And I'm the person that is willing to stand up to Trump, and I will fight tooth and nail to protect democracy if I'm elected as your next congressman.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the man himself, Judge Carlos Moore. Let me tell you guys, the people, as he said, deserves more. And I believe that you've heard that he's spoken with passion, with authenticity, and he's willing to deliver. Give this man your time, give him your attention, hear what he has to say, and make your decision when the time comes. Judge Carlos Moore, it was a pleasure speaking to you, my guy.
Always.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you.
Thank you.